Pittsburgh's Quantum Theater is known for taking chances. It staged challenging plays in a vacant former steel plant and even an empty swimming pool. But the troupe's latest show is among its most unusual yet. 90.5 WESA's Bill O'Driscoll has more on the opera Idaspe.
Idaspe was written by composer Riccardo Broschi. It debuted in February 1730 in Naples. Imagine the festive scene with the audience in their silken finery during Carnival. But here's how Idaspe has sounded since. Silence.
It's never been performed since 1730.
Quantum's Carla Boos says her company will break that 300-year-old drought Friday. Boos started this unlikely project because of an aria. That's internationally known mezzo-soprano Vivica Genoa singing a tune from Vivaldi's opera Bajazet. Boos originally planned to stage that show with acclaimed British director Claire Van Campen. The women shifted gears after Van Campen learned the aria wasn't written by Vivaldi at all. As was then common, he simply borrowed it from fellow Baroque composer Broschi's Idaspe. Van Campen was intrigued by this long-lost opera.
I guess when people hear, oh, it's never been performed since 1730, they assume it's because it's not very good. But I just felt in my bones that there was something there.
Idaspe starred the famous castrato singer Farinelli in a role written for him by Broschi, his brother. The original manuscript lives in the Austrian National Library in Vienna. But though it's accessible online, the only copy was handwritten in Baroque-era musical notation. Enter Pittsburgh music ensemble Chatham Baroque.
It was like our pandemic project.
Scott Pauley and the group's two other co-artistic directors spent months with the 350-page score, transcribing every note into a software program to translate it for modern musicians. The first time they played the full composition on their period instruments was likely the first time it reached human ears since America was still a British colony.
That whole process is really kind of what we live for in Chatham Baroque. It's really great.
That's Chatham Baroque in rehearsal. Baroque operas aren't performed often, even by big opera companies. But Quantum Theater's Carla Boos says Idaspe's story of sibling refugees, organized crime, and romantic rivalry remains relevant today.
It's these two immigrant children from the Middle East who land in Naples as refugees, but the society that quote-unquote welcomes them doesn't do anything for them, doesn't provide. And so I think it is the story of many immigrant people.
Director Van Campen transplanted the story to the 1960s, complete with stylish period costumes.
It's really a story about love, which we can all relate to. And in Idaspe, everyone loves someone who either can't love them back or won't.
Chatham Baroque and 16 guest musicians from around the country will play period instruments including harpsichord, Baroque oboe, and theorbo, a 6-foot-long lute. The cast of 7 singers is joined by 8 dancers from local troupes. And those singers include Vivica Genoa, whose singing sparked the whole project. Genoa specializes in roles sung by the castrato Farinelli, and in Idaspe too she sings Farinelli's part. She says performing Baroque music, with all its vocal trills, is like making Baroque paintings into song, both canvas and frame.
The frames around those Baroque paintings are so three-dimensional, and it's often gold-plated, and there's a lot of waving motion and curlicues and three-dimensional coming out towards you, and then you have shadows behind that. And that's always what I feel like I'm doing when I'm singing those ornaments.
In the title role is John Holliday, a famed countertenor known for his 2020 appearance on TV's The Voice. Here he is singing a piece from Idaspe.
This is such beautiful music, and it shouldn't be obscure. And hopefully what we do is that we bring this work back to life and have it done more often. That's our goal.
Idaspe gets 5 performances starting Friday at the Byam Theater. It will be sung in Italian with English translations projected above the stage. Bill O'Driscoll, 90.5 WESA News.